This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, is not showing the. Okay, so I'm sorry for this technical problem here. Now, I hope all people you are able to watch this video. In this lesson today, yeah, thank you, Mr. BSL and some other people they already joined. We are today covering this unit 1, lesson 2 of this artificial intelligence, and specifically we'll be focusing on this intelligence part. Okay. So regarding this artificial intelligence, I have given a clear-cut idea yesterday. What we are trying to do with the computer system, like the human intelligence, that we call the artificial intelligence. Now, that means I want to develop the same sort of intelligence either in a system or in a computer program or in any model. Then I say it is a artificial intelligence. Okay. Then what is the exact definition of this intelligence? How do we define this intelligence? So intelligence is the computational part, that is the ability to achieve the goals of the world. Okay. So this we say somebody is intelligent when he is good in the computational part. That means the varying kind of degree, the variety kind of degrees and intelligence appears in people, in many animals and many machines also. Okay, so this purpose is that what is the degree of intelligence we see with animals and peoples or other things, living things, that we want to incorporate in machines. Okay, now we how do we characterize the intelligence, and we cannot yet characterize it generally. uh, uh, we cannot yet characterize in general what kind of computational procedures we want to call intelligence. That means we don't have the exact definition how we call it an intelligence. Okay, so we understand some of the mechanism of intelligence, and some other also we do not understand. Okay, so the meaning is that there must be a clear-cut idea what we call it as intelligence. Okay, we here you take it that the intelligence it is the computational procedure or computational part of anything, then we say it is intelligent. Okay. Next, we have a question whether intelligence is a single thing. It is yes or no questions. No, intelligent it is not a single thing. It involves some mechanism, and artificial intelligence research has discovered how to make computers carry out some of them. Okay, so you can understand it is not just like a single thing. So somebody knows computation, he is intelligent. Somebody know counting, he is intelligent. Or somebody know the table, he is intelligent. This is not. It is just like a mechanism. And if doing a task requires only mechanism that are well understood today, and the computer programs can give very impressive performance on those tasks, such programs should be considered somewhat intelligent. Okay, so our main job is that to develop a mechanism. Following that mechanism, we can make the system intelligent. Okay. Then we come across another thing. How do we measure this intelligence? We use some IQ. IQ, it is certain things like the intelligent quotient. You say it's the intelligent quotient IQ. Some people they ask you don't have IQ, or say our some Einstein he has more IQ. We say Swami Vivekananda has more IQ. How do we? How? What is the meaning of that IQ? The IQ is a measurement of your intelligence and it's expressed in number. So suppose a person we conducted a test or something like that, and we found somebody scored very good marks. We say he's intelligent, or in that IQ is 100 or more than 100. We say it is IQ better than the average people. Okay, so IQ is based on the rates at which intelligence develops in children. Say for example, a small table. I ask you 9 ja. 9 ja 171 at this age you can say because you are engineering students. But imagine when a child is studying in standard 4 and 5, for him it is a difficult thing. See, after that, it is not that every day you are practicing this type of intelligence test every day or going for this practicing of these whatever we say tables. But the thing is that with your knowledge, with your experience, that intelligence grows. Okay, that's why we say that IQ is based on the rates at which intelligence develop in children, and it is the ratio of the age at which a child normally makes a certain score to the child's age. That means, suppose I conduct a test now that I want to know the tables from the students. I randomly ask 17 9 ja, what is the how much it will be, 19 9 ja, 23 9 ja, like that I ask. So it will be difficult for the students of that age. Maybe few people will be able to answer. They are the intelligent at that place. Now you as an engineering student, you are able to say, I cannot say you told 99 is 171, you are intelligent. It has no meaning. So that means it is related to the child's age, and the scale is extended to adults in a suitable way. Okay, that is the meaning of these things. Now, this IQ also correlates well with various measures of success or failure. Okay, so you do something. So if it is a failure, then what is the meaning of that IQ? So we measure in the form of some success or some failures also in life. But making computers that can score high in IQ test would be weakly correlated with their usefulness. Suppose I say that somebody's IQ is good, and because in terms of success or failure, just I conducted a test. So I assume that the boy or the girl is intelligent. But here you cannot say that the computer is doing good in computation, so it is intelligent. It never happens like that. Okay. So even if it can be good in IQ test, but it will be weakly correlated with their usefulness. Okay. That is, for example, the ability of a child to repeat back a long sequence of digits correlates well with other intelligent abilities. See, suppose I say you count 1 to 100, 2 or 3 years speed, and I say you count it in reverse manner 100, 99, 98, 97. So to that age, it is a ratio. To that age, we say that child is intelligent. But it is not the case that it happens with a computer. Computer can very easily count 1 to millions, and it can come in the reverse manner also. In that way, we cannot say the computer that it is intelligent. Okay. So because it measures how much information the child can compute with once. However, digit span the trivial for even extremely limited computers. That is the idea. That is the definitions we are giving for what is intelligence and what is IQ and all things. Okay. Then the next question comes: does artificial intelligence aim to put the human mind into the computer? So is it that what is our mind or our brain capability that we want to map to the computer? Some researchers say yes, they have that objective. It is not achieved till now, but they have the objective to put the human brain to the computer. But maybe they are using the phrases metaphorically, and the human mind has a lot of peculiarities, and we are not sure anyone is serious about limiting or imitating all of them. So maybe some of them will be able to put it, but we cannot put all the things because it is just like a very peculiar type of things are there. Okay. Then the next question comes: does artificial intelligence aim at human level of intelligence? Yes. Our goal or objective is that the ultimate effort is to make computers program that can solve problems and achieve goals like the human beings. Okay. However, many people involved in particular research areas are much less ambitious. Only a part of that they are doing. Now, we studied about the fundamentals about what is intelligence, what is artificial intelligence, what is IQ, whether it is a single entity or it is a mechanism. All the things now we have some broad ideas about what is artificial intelligence. Now let us study what are the various branches of artificial intelligence. We have different branches of artificial intelligence. For example, we can go for the logical AI. Here you can understand it is based on the logic. Okay, what a program knows about the world in general, the facts of the scientific or the specific situation in which it must act and its goal. Okay, that means we already trained in a particular situation. The logic will act like this. If this is the condition, then go ahead. If this is not the condition, then go back, like that. Then we go for the search. This examine a large number of possibilities, that is moves in a chess game. In a chess game, say it sees at this current scenario or the current state, what is the position of all these things and how many possible moves are there and what is the best move. So it is not referring to any past memory or anything. It is only currently evaluating what is the possibility number of moves are there and what is the best one. Then we go for the pattern recognitions. Here, to compare what it sees with a pattern, for example, a vision program may try to match a pattern, eyes and nose in a scene in order to find a face. Okay, and more complex pattern, that is in a natural language processing or natural language text processing, whatever we say. Okay, so these are the things it is coming under this pattern recognitions. The next category of branches, that is the representations. So here we are going for the representation by mathematical logic. So we'll be able to represent the language of mathematical logic, that is the representation. So here we'll be using some predicate logic and some other things we'll be using that we study in details maybe in the second unit. Okay. Then you go for the inference. It is not interference, it's the inference. That means getting some abstract from other things. Okay. For example, I give an example here. I tell you your date of birth, and from that you can infer what is the actual age of you today. How do we do all the things? So today's date is there. Something say it is 5th May 2020. Suppose your date of birth is 3rd April 1990. So you deduct all the things and convert to the next round year. You say my age is 20 years, 21 years, 22. This is the inference. From that data we infer, we get something. No direct solution is given there. Okay. From some facts, other can be inferred. That is the thing. Then we go to the common sense knowledge and reasoning. You see, you might have seen a movie. I think one movie was robotics. In the robotics, initially, the robot has the knowledge when somebody is in the fire, then immediately he has to remove the dresses. But what happened? The lady is there in the fire, he is immediately going and removing all these dresses. So it is a common sense. Immediately the lady committed suicide. So it has no knowledge that if somebody's dresses is removed, to what offense and what things. He is thinking that I have to save the life of that girl or that body, and he is removing the dresses. So this lacks the common sense knowledge and also the reasoning. So this part is to be introduced. Then the learning from experiences. So artificial intelligence based on connection engine. So this is purely artificial neural network. That means here the processing elements are the neurons, which are the building block of the neural networks or the neurology. And here a number of neurons, they are connected. Here I am telling you the connection engine, and they are arranged in layers, and all the features are provided as input to these layers. And because of this total connectivity, and because they go on firing and all things, and when they exceed some threshold value, the fires or the information is passed based on that. That means we store all the previous values and we provide them as input to the various layers, and from the experience the computer can learn. What is the learning algorithm we are putting in our artificial neural network? Those are things coming under that one. Then is the planning. Here a lot of things it is coming. One is epistemology, second one is ontology, third one is heuristics. What is epistemology? Here study of the kinds of knowledge that are required for solving problems in the world. That we call as the epistemology. Second, ontology, study of the kind of things that exist already. Then heuristics, the way of trying to discover some things based on the heuristic value. Okay, I'll tell you while we are going for 8 puzzle game playing, what exactly heuristics. I'll take some classes to tell you exactly that what is the heuristic. But remember that here the search or the planning is done based on the heuristics. Then the last one is the genetic programming. Here it is by mating the random list programming. It is mating means that combining male and female. It is not like no male and female in the programming. Here by mating random list programming, we can also use the genetic programming to solve all the things. Okay. Then we go for the various applications of artificial intelligence. The most important parts is the game playing. What you are telling about the 8 puzzle game. There are a number of chess games are there. Other games are also there. Then speech recognition. That means suppose in a group of people somebody is speaking, so I will be able to identify. So that's speech recognition. Understanding natural languages. That is the conversion of text from English to other languages to English, and understanding natural language. This is also part of that one. Then the computer vision. In the computer vision, we'll study all the things in details. Then the expert system and the heuristic classifications. We'll go one by one. First, we are going for the game playing. So now, in the year 2020, it is possible you can buy a machine that can play master level of chess for a few $100. You can purchase all the things. There is some AI in them, but they play well against people mainly through the brute force. Here, a new word you are learning what is the brute force. That means based on the current scenario, looking the current position of the elephant, the sheep, this, that, the minister, or the horse, etc., and what are the possible number of moves are there, and what is the best move. So that means some 1,000 number of position and 1,000 number of moves. Out of that, what is the optimal, what is the best, they can go for that one. Based on that only they are playing. And to beat a world champion by brute force and knowing reliable heuristic requires being able to look something like 200 million positions per second. It is not that easy. That means 200 millions of positions per second you have to move or think, then only you will be able to play with a world champion and make him defeat. Then we are going for the speech recognitions. In the year 1990, computer speech recognition reached a practical level of limited purposes. Okay. Thus, the United Airlines replaced its keyboard tree for some flight informations by a system using speech recognitions of flight numbers and city names, and it is quite convenient. On the other hand, while it is possible to instruct some computers using speech, most users have gone back to the keyboard and the mouse, as still they feel it is more convenient. Okay. Then we are going for the next applications, that is the understanding of natural language. It is just getting a sequence of words into a computer is not enough, or parsing a sentence is also not enough either. Okay. The computer has to be provided with an understanding of the domain first. Say you question comes, what is domain? Say banking is a domain, insurance is a domain. Okay. So like that, there are number of domains. So the computer should understand the domain first, and the text is about, and this is presently possible only for very limited domains. Okay. So we have not extended to all the domains. It is not possible. Then the next application is the computer vision. The world is composed of three-dimensional objects, but the input to our human eyes and computers, TV, camera are only two-dimensional. Okay. Some useful programs can work solely in 2 dimensions, but full computer vision requires partial three-dimensional information. That is not just a set of 2-dimensional views. You cannot say 3 dimension is a combination of 2-dimensional view. We need some mechanism so that we can gather more information and like things we can visualize. Then at present, there is only limited ways of representing the 3-dimensional informations directly, and they are not as good as what humans evidently use. Okay. So this is a challenge in front of us to implement. Then we are going for the expert system. So what we mean by a expert system? See, first we let us understand what is the expert, then we will develop expert system. See, I need an expert to match the fingerprint. So all cannot do that one. It is only a particular expert can do that one. I need an expert in medicine who can diagnose this, and he can, all people they cannot do it. I need an expert. So now we need.
Sorry, this is live class.
Exactly, sir. And I am unable to provide you the videos. I'm recording all the things, and I will be able to provide you all these things. Okay, the video lectures, what I'm recording also. Are you able to see the slides, sir?
Yes, sir. Sorry, this is live video. Yes, sir. This is live video or recorded video, sir. Only four people are attendance.
that is the other part, because the fundamental class is going on. Recorded things we are also sending to them. I think we have to monitor and we have to motivate them. It is Dr. Devalan garu. Are you Dr. Devalan? Hello. Hello.
No sir, no students.
Hello.
Students
Devalan?
are because more. No sir, no students are
Okay.
because
Okay.
more.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, because very good morning and thank you. And if please tell some people, anyway, recorded things will be there also. And are you able to see the
Okay.
slides? No. Are
Yes
you
sir,
able to
yes,
see
I
the
am able to
slides?
see sir. Good. Yes sir, yes. Good morning
Okay,
sir.
thank you. Yeah, good morning, good morning, good morning. No, yesterday what happened? Some students, I found 10 to 20 students. They are opening 11 o'clock because I have given the schedule 10 o'clock. I have some other schedule, but the recorded video also I'm
Okay sir.
sending. Yesterday what we have completed, that is also available. So you can also check, because
Okay sir.
I'm covering the fundamentals while you will be going for the 8 puzzle and going for the algorithm like A star, A star. This is very important. This is in the textbook. What is given, it is very difficult for you to understand. That giving a clear-cut manner in a example also I'll be solving online. It will be very much useful who are there in hostel also. You can also motivate them to attend all things. Thank you, and it will be continuing another 4 to 5 minutes only, because it was only 30 minutes. It is around to 10:30 because there initially some technical problem was there. Maybe I will be continuing another 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, so please attend. Thank you. Okay, shall I proceed?
Okay sir. Okay sir.
Okay,
Thank you sir.
okay, thank you. Okay, so we need one expert system. So for that, what do we need? We need a knowledge engineer. So this is, we call it as the knowledge engineer. So this interviews experts, because who are the expert in that line in a certain domain, and tries to embody their knowledge in a computer program for carrying out some task. That means, suppose I want a patient to be treated with a medicine specialist or a cardiologist. So what I do, I take the interview with a cardiologist, or I take his expertise. The same thing I embed with the computer system to do similar type of job. So that we say is the knowledge engineer or the expert system. And how well this works depends on whether the intellectual mechanisms required for this task are within the present state of AI. That only depend on that one. When this turned out not to be so, there are many disappointing results also. I give an example. The first expert systems was developed in 1974. That is the mycin. It is related to medicine, and which diagnosed bacterial infections of the blood and suggested treatment, and did better than the medical students or practicing doctors, provided its limitations were also observed. These are the things. Namely, its ontology included bacteria, symptoms, and treatments, and it did not include like the patients, the doctors, the hospitals, the death, the recovery, and events occurring in that time. Its interaction depended on a single patient being. That means it is only interacting with a single patient, and it is only suggesting the diagnosing all the things. It has no idea who are the doctors present, who are the patients present, what is the history, what is the data, and all these hospitals, it has no idea. That means, so it needs interaction. If it interact and understand, then only it will be able to understand all the things. Second thing, since the expert consulted by the knowledge engineers knew about patients, doctors, death, recovery, you see, the expert know all the things. I'm not talking about the computer expert system. I'm talking about the expert doctor. He knows, he has the knowledge about all the things. Okay, he has knowledge about the patient, the doctor, the death, the recovery, etc. It is clear that the knowledge engineer forced knowledge engineering in the expert system. The forced what the experts told them into a predetermined or predefined framework. That is the thing. And in the present state of artificial intelligence, this has to be true. And the usefulness of current expert systems depends on their users having common sense. Okay. Then we are going for some scope of this expert system. As stated in the approaches section, an expert system is able to do the work of a professional. What a expert or what a professional can do, the expert system can do the similar type of work. Moreover, a computer system can be trained quickly, has virtually no operating cost, because once you train, so computer never become tired. There is no operation cost. There is, computer never forgets what it learns. It never feels tired, never applies CL. Even if this lockdown is there, also the computer can work, because the lockdown is not applicable to computer systems, and never calls in sick or retires or OCL, EL, or goes on vacation. A computer never goes on vacation. That means where some sort of expertise required regularly, and it does not require that much of expertise by a professional. It can be better done by this expert system. And beyond those, intelligent computers can consider a large amount of information. They may not be considered by the humans. That is another point. Suppose huge amount of information human cannot remember, but a computer can very much remember and he can apply. But to what extent should these systems replace human experts? So if this is the case, is it that the expert system is going to replace the experts, or should they do it at all? For example, some people once considered an intelligent computer as a possible substitute for human control over nuclear weapons, but it never happened, citing that a computer could respond more quickly to a threat. And many artificial intelligence developers were afraid of the possibility of programs like ELIZA, the psychiatrist, and the bond that humans were making with the computers. That means it can be tampered, it can be influenced. That is a possibility, and that's why people are afraid about that one. Then we cannot, however, overlook the benefits of having a computer expert. And forecasting the weather, for example, relies on many variables, many data, and a computer expert can more accurately pull all of its knowledges. Still, a computer cannot rely on these hunches of a human expert, which are sometimes necessary in predicting an outcome. Okay, in conclusion, we can say like this: in some fields, such as forecasting weather or finding bugs in computer softwares, expert systems are sometimes more accurate than the humans. But for the other fields such as medicine, computer aiding doctors will be benefited, but the human doctor should not be replaced by the expert system. And expert systems have the power and the range to aid, to benefit, and in some cases replace humans. And computer experts, if used with discretions, will be benefited, and it will benefit the humankind. Then the last one, we are going for the heuristic classifications. One of the most feasible kinds of expert systems, given the present knowledge of artificial intelligence, is to put some information in one of the fixed set of categories using the several sources of information. This we call as the heuristic. Now, it will be confusing. What is that heuristic here? Say, for example, I am going for a 8-puzzle program. In a 8-puzzle program, when we are moving the blank space up, down, left, and right, it goes to the different states. Initially, it was the initial state. Then when I am moving something, then it will be going. In each state, if you see, there are number system 1 to 8, and 1 is blank. So all in that current state, in that particular state, the numbers will be deviating from the goal state. Goal state, it is in a order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and middle is the blank. So what are the differences between these numbers? I can say the heuristic, and I will select only that one when the heuristic value is less. Okay, so these are the heuristics. I have given an example. Like that, we can have different heuristics for the different systems we are working, and there can be more than one heuristic. There can be 2, 3, 4, 5 number of heuristics can be there. For an example, is advising whether to accept a proposed credit card for a purchase. Information is available about the owner of the credit card, his record of payment, and also about the item he is buying, and about the establishment from where he is buying and which one he is buying. Okay, so that means from that records he can say it is a fraud or it is a genuine user. All the things they can do. Then the most important thing, now we are going to how the artificial intelligence research is done, and what are the relations between artificial intelligence and philosophy, and also what are the artificial intelligence and logic programming. Then some other things we can also, what should we study before or while you are studying this artificial intelligence. So these are the some things we'll be covering now. Hardly will take 5 minutes for covering all the things, and after that I will give you sufficient time, 5 to 10 minutes time. If you people have any doubt also, you can share with me and you can interact with me. I'll be happy. And I request all the viewers and all the students to share with other students, although this information is already shared in the app binder. But I don't think if the students need a different timing, that also you can work with together. But at this moment, the timing is 10 to 11. If it is they are not convenient for these things, they are free to send some mails or SMS. Okay. Now let us see how this AI research is done. See, AI research has both theoretical as well as the experimental side. And the experimental side has both basic and applied aspects also. And there are two main lines of research. One is biological, based on the ideas that since humans are intelligent, artificial intelligence to study human and imitate their psychology as well as the philosophy. Okay, if all the things the system is imitating, then it can better do on these things. The other is phenomenal, based on the studying and formalizing common sense facts about the world and the problems that the world presents to the achievement of the goals. And the two approaches interact to some extent and eventually succeed. It is a race, but both racers them should interact. Comparisons between AI has been both example and how the artificial and logic programming related. So at the very least, logic programming provide useful programming languages mainly to the Prolog. Okay. Beyond that, sometimes the theory useful in artificial intelligence can be expressed as a collection of Horn clauses and goals to be achieved, and can be expressed as fact of finding values of these variables satisfying and expressions. That is the things we'll study in our predicate logic. Maybe that will be covering in the second unit. And the problem can sometimes be solved by running the Prolog program consisting of, and there are two possibilities obstacles regarding the AI as logic programming. First one is the Horn theories don't exhaust first order logic. The second one, the Prolog program expressing the theory may be extremely inefficient. These are the two major shortcomings of that one. And more elaborate control than just executing the program that expresses the theory is often needed, and map coloring provides an example for that one. Finally, we are going to the last slide where we'll study about what should we study during or before going for this artificial intelligence. So study of mathematics necessity, especially mathematical logics. The more we learn about the sciences like physics, biology, the better for the biological approaches to AI, and study of psychology and the philosophy to some extent, and also the nervous systems, that is necessity who are trying to do research in the area of artificial intelligence. They learn some programming languages like at least C, C++. Now people are moving to Python, R programming. They also, it is necessary for that one. And what is a good textbook for artificial intelligence? So we can recommend the Artificial Intelligence by Stuart Russell and Peter Norvig. That is the Apprentice of India PHI. That is the most commonly used textbook, and it is a standard textbook, international publications. It was published in 1997, and the general views expressed there don't exactly correspond to those of the essays now, but most of the fundamental things are covered there. Then artificial intelligence, a new synthesis by Nilsson, J. Nilsson and Morgan. This is also one of the good book that it can be referred, and some of the you remember that book Nilsson, and Rich and Knight is also one of the book people are following. And while you are following this J. Nilsson, please follow the international publications. That is good. And some people prefer computational intelligence by David Pule and Alan Worth and Randy Govel. That is the Oxford University Press. That is published in the 1900. There are so many things and so many materials are available that I tried to provide you some very basic and fundamental things for you. It is good for the beginners as well as the people who are trying to do research, and especially who are planning for research in the machine learning, deep learning. They must have the fundamental knowledge of at least the artificial intelligence, what are the applications and what are the algorithms especially. And I will be covering the very fundamental algorithms like A algorithm, A star algorithm, AO star algorithm, what exactly that algorithm, and what is the area of application where you apply all the things. And I hope I tried to deliver you the very fundamental things. If you have any queries, you are free. I will or suggestions that also you can send with my email ID drjijana@gmail.com. And if you have any suggestions specifically how to improve also, I will incorporate all the things, because just I'm trying all the things. I am not expert in that area, but the subject, even if I taught 2002 onwards, I taught this subject several times. So I can talk about subject, but the technicality of this video and all things, what improvement you want, I will be able to incorporate after getting your feedback. Thank you all, especially the students who are watching. If any comments or any suggestion, please be free to share with me. Thank you.